Hi everyone, this is Upcoming Revolution in China. Today is June 25, 2018. I am Yang, and this is, I'll let him introduce himself. He looks like someone, is a celebrity look-alike.
I'm Michael Gifford, Johnny Depp impersonator here in Las Vegas.
Right, so a couple of days ago we had our first episode, and in this episode we're gonna continue talking about what is really going on in China. So, Michael, have you ever been to China?
I have never been to China. I've always wanted to go. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee,
Oh, okay.
So what's going on in China? I heard that things aren't always what they seem over here on the western side. We have a different image of China and how they're doing. Like you had said, like a rising star. Because doesn't most of our stuff come from there?
And I think it's like we have different angles to look at things, like the people from Asia and the people from the Western countries, because we have different cultural backgrounds. So things that we focus on different aspects. So
more traditional, or
I think, like, to most Americans, like China, obviously, like after Trump took the White House, it's on the news all the time. So I don't know. I think, like, what you think? Like, I think most Americans, to me, they think China is like rich and big.
When I think about China and stuff, I think tradition.
Tradition.
Yeah, I
Ancient.
think of Asian traditions. The geishas and things like that. Martial arts and you guys build all the cool things. Like cell phones and technology is just like, so there's probably flying cars over there, right?
So they're what?
There's flying cars?
No.
No? Oh.
I saw on the news the other day, they invented a flying car, but it's not in the market yet. But honestly, in my opinion, just my opinion, I don't think they are very creative, or say maybe not yet, because
who's picking all this stuff up?
China has been a copycat in the past like 20-30 years. So basically, like a lot of stuff are like made in China, and so I think what happened was, like, the Western countries and especially America was asking China to make all these products and
for a cheaper price.
Cheaper price, and then get imported to America. So I think China was like getting orders and making all these merchandise and stuff, and they have been accumulating experiences and stuff to learn how to make things. So they have a lot of, what do you call that in English? I can't think of the word, like imitations. Like, you have something here, then they make something.
Knockoff, or a generic brand.
Yeah. They've been doing that for a long time.
Frosted Flakes, you'll have, Sugar Flakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because there's no copyright law over there. There is, but the government doesn't really apply it. So if you invent something, I make a little modification, or I don't even do that.
Right.
I can just copy you and then make money.
Right.
So it's kind of like in disorder over there.
You add like a little child safety guard. Now it's yours.
So what? I'm sorry.
You add like a child safety guard to a lighter. And where a kid can't light it.
Yeah.
Then boom. You just invented that child-proof lighter.
Yeah. So that's in the past like 20 to 30 years. That's what's been going on over there. But speaking of flying cars, I saw on the news the other day they invented it, but I don't know. It's only China where all over the world they have that technology.
Well, I've never seen a flying car. Well, Ford had made one, but that was years ago. But it was actually a car that like transformed into a plane. And it actually worked. I don't think it made it to the market, so much. But they did exist. But now I'm talking like hover cars. Like you seen Back to the Future with cars that just and they float off somewhere, or the hoverboard, the skateboard with no wheels. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. No, they don't
reverse
have
magnetic
that.
technology, where it propels you off the ground because the whole ground is made of magnets, of one polarity, and the board is made of the opposite, reverse polarity, to where they don't go together, they push off each other.
Like in the sci-fi movies, huh?
Right.
I think, speaking of transportation, I think they have the one thing that is like very advanced over there is called I think high-speed train or something.
Oh, yeah, like a bullet train?
Yeah.
So the guy here is supposed to be like super fast. You can get like 4 states in like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, they were. I saw it on the news. I think they were trying to build one between China and New York City, or China and Los Angeles.
See, everything sounds great,
Yeah,
Let's hear the upcoming revolution. Everything sounds like it's there, but
on
what's
the
up?
superficial level, it is. I think what's going on is like in order to make all that development happen, you have to pay a price, to like sacrifice labors and the stuff. So in the past, like 20, 30, I think starting by 1978 or 1980, that's the year you were born, right?
Right.
So back then in China, like people were wearing, like everyone I think was wearing like green, like uniform. So when I first came to America in 2008, somebody was asking me, like he said he'd been to China before in the 80s. He asked me like if Chinese people still wearing like green like everywhere. It's like so then there was a president. His name was Deng Xiaoping. So he started a economical revolution kind of thing. Like he started like making connection with the Western country and started developing the economy. So he said something. He said we'll let the a small percentage of people to get rich first, and then we
see how that works.
Yeah, then we talk about, we'll see the rest of the people. So I think he had a good intention, but what happened was, in order for the economy to, become greater, so they were allowing people to do stuff that used to be banned. So what I can remember was like people started doing like street, peddling and stuff. They started like selling stuff in the street and trying to bribe the, government.
Call that hustling.
Yeah, officials and the stuff. Like they were doing a lot of stuff under the table, and they were. Some people were getting rich, but they were not doing it I wouldn't say correct way, but they were not doing it in the regular way. It wasn't legal. It was semi-legal. It wasn't like kind of illegal. So some people got rich, and it changed people's view of life.
Well, yeah, it's like money is power. Power, goes to people's heads.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We're just trying out for a portion of the people to get rich. Like that was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
Everyone should have had an equal opportunity.
Yeah.
That way, no one feels left out.
Yeah.
And there is no like, I don't know, you guys have to go over there. We're the rich people. We get to, we're special privileged, you know.
Yeah.
That 1 or 2, like what percentage of China
Well,
is upper
right
class?
now, I'd say probably like 5%.
5% is
Yeah,
upper
maybe
class?
5%, maybe less than that.
And China's super populated.
Yeah, we have like 1.4, almost 1.4 billion people in China.
Okay, yeah. It's about, you know.
So most of these people, they are like, the relatives of the government officials, and then the businesses over there are like controlled by the different families, and each family they are like relatives of the some like certain government officials.
Right.
So it's like monopoly.
Right. Yeah, and see, it's definitely one thing, like out here in Western, it's illegal to have a monopoly because then, they got the power.
Yeah.
And, when somebody has that, they want more,
Yeah.
so they'll even take from the little guys,
Yeah.
just to stay up and keep the little guy down,
Yeah.
and that's how it's always going to work unless everyone's getting everything the same. Like, you get a house, I get a house.
Yeah.
Not you get a house and I get an apartment.
Yeah.
Now you're living well. You don't have to worry about like certain features of the house. Like a garage and everything like that. Apartments don't have that. So you could protect your car and other belongings, and meanwhile you're limited to space in an apartment.
Yeah.
So you can already obtain more, and put it in your house.
Yeah.
Whether it be like your family or whatever, so now everyone in your family's getting a house. Everyone in my family's like apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. Then it goes studio, and then, my other relatives who aren't doing so well are living on the street,
Yeah.
because I can't fit them in my house, my little apartment.
Well, a couple days ago, not a couple days, but a couple months ago, in Beijing, I'm from Beijing, the capital city. There was a what do you call that? The government was trying to kick the poor people out of the city. I think what happened was there was a lot of people. It's like, for example, like in here, like you're from a small town, you want a better future, you go to New York City or Los Angeles. So they went to Beijing. It's a big city in China for a better life. And then some of them succeeded, some of them, failed, or they didn't make it, or temporarily they are, still struggling. So they don't have a good living situation, maybe like 10, 20 people living in a small cell. And I haven't been back in 10 years, so I don't know what's, really how small it is. I only saw it on TV. But the government was like, I think a lot of like, international meetings were in the, people, foreigners from other country and travel to China and stuff. They don't want them to see. They're like, we're embarrassed with all these poor people. So, we don't care where you guys go.
A lot of poor people. Like, where's the middle class at?
Well, some people believe there's not like no middle class in China. There's a huge gap. There are people. They're kind of,
or you're not.
Yeah, kind of like middle class. They work really hard. They make way more money than the average people. But what happened is the pricing is so high in China. Like, you make a lot of money, but you still you don't really have a comfortable life. You have a lot of pressure. You have to work really hard in order to keep up.
Right. Well, just because I pay attention to people. Just because I just like to read people just to see like why you're doing this, or how'd you get there, and why. And a lot of the struggles are people do crazy things because they're struggling to survive.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't so hard, they wouldn't do these crazy things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
they don't
like
have a
going to
choice.
school. Like, how's schools? We go to school, you know, and we're taught for free. Well, not free, but you know, the government takes care of like the money portion and taxes and things like that. That goes to like schooling and education. You know, and you're telling me that you gotta pay to go to school. It's kind of
you have to pay. Well, they claim that.
Poor, how are you gonna pay?
Well, that's why we say there's a upcoming revolution because people are not happy. So officially they claim that you don't have to pay. We pay for everything. Your kids just go to school, but
we pay for sidewalks everywhere.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
But what happened is these kids before they actually go to school, like when they're going to preschool or kindergarten, say like when you go to elementary school, the system in China is like this. If you go to this one preschool and after you finish preschool, when you go to kindergarten, you can only go to like this one kindergarten. And if you finish this one kindergarten, then you can only go to this elementary school. So it's like I don't know.
So what if you move?
Well, if you move, you have to pay extra money to go to, the school that
to transfer to another school.
To transfer, they might not even accept you. You have to pay a lot of money, and I heard from my relatives,
See, that's a way of keeping people down. Like, it's so counterproductive.
And they have to. This is what they call that. Like when you go to preschool, you have to pay. They have like so many different names of the money you have to pay. Like they call it
tuition.
No, not tuition. They say tuition is free, but you have to pay to. They say I'm thinking of the word to say. Like you have to pay a certain amount of money to build the school. Like they say, like we spend so much money in building the school. So in order for
they're building the school all year round.
No, they already finished. But they're like maybe we took a loan or something. But in order for your kid to be in this school, we spend so much money. So you have to pay us the money that we spend on building this school. It's just a way for them to ask you for
like
money.
Fundraisers, let's sell these candy bars and if everyone does it, we'll go have a pizza party.
They just find like different ways to take money out of your pocket. So you have to pay this and that, and then
that's a shame. That's gotta be like a lot of weight on somebody's shoulders. Just like everything is just.
It costs so much money to raise a kid over there. It costs so much money. So that's why.
You guys don't have like a little program, like a government program that helps out with people that are hardcore struggling, like how we have like the welfare system and stuff here, that helps people out. So much so that they get lazy and they don't do anything. They have no aspirations to do anything. They just taking the government's money and sitting on their butts instead of actually going and utilizing themselves.
Well, I believe they do have a system over there, but they never actually give people enough money, or they claim that, how much we give you, but when the people are actually giving the money, they pocket some of the money. So you don't actually get how much you're supposed to get.
Right. That's pretty, So, there's a lot of like confusion. Even none of our systems are perfect. They all have their hiccups and things like that. But it's definitely not welfare. It's more of a farewell. It's like, sorry. Do what we could.
I think, in my opinion, like, because, I've seen China. I've seen how China is like, and I've seen America. Even though, I heard from a lot of Americans, like, they are complaining about the government, about the system. But in my opinion, that this is like paradise compared to China. China is like in hell. It's not just about the.
See, I didn't grow up envisioning that at all. Like, I envision like Las Vegas. How it's got the lights and everything, and it's an attraction. That's how I picture it. That and like all traditional stuff. You know, like the garb, you know, the clothes that they wore. But I could be getting two cultures mixed up, but yeah. No.
It's exactly like Las Vegas. You just said that, you know, in Vegas, because we live here, so we see that, you know, the Strip and the Fremont is like so fancy, but only the Strip and the Fremont. If you go elsewhere in Vegas, it's just normal. It's just like nothing too fancy about it.
Right.
So China is like, I think, you know, you look at it on the news where you look at Chinese people, tourists, they come here, they have LV purse and all those expensive stuff, but those are like a small percentage from China.
Well, Las Vegas is just that, just a small little, you know, city. You know, compared to all of America, you know, because there's places that you probably don't want to live. You know, it's just probably not healthy to live there just because it's too dang hot, or you know, there's not enough resources. You know, it's not near water. You know, so, you know, I mean, there's.
Honestly, like, I think in China, it's not just the living situation. It's like what's on people's mind. It's compared to America, like Chinese people, they put themselves in like mental jail or mental prison. So, for example, like the rich people over there in China, they're actually not that happy. They're under a lot of pressure. So, in order for you to be rich, you have to be making a very good connection with the government, and the government might be ripping you off. It might not be the government, but like certain government officials. So, for example, if I want to run this business here, and you know, I have so many competitors to apply for the license, and who the government gonna give the license to is whoever bribed the government with more money. And the middle class are even worse over there. It's like, you know, I think this is more like a cultural thing that Chinese people, they're too competitive. Like, they are always trying to see, you know, oh, he's driving a better car, or they're having a, you know, bigger house. So, you know, we have to, they push themselves. But there is no equal opportunity over there, and which I believe even in America, you know, I think it's better than China, but you don't have like pure equal opportunity. There are some people they're born with money, some people born with a better background. But over there it's like you don't really have a tiny little chance to, you know, to struggle, you know, out of the darkness. It's really hard over there.
Right. So, like, we'll say you know, you invent something there. You know, like how would that go down? Like, do they look at it and go, or they look at it and go, wow, you know, we can actually use this for things. Here's money. Thanks for the idea. You know, we're going to do this, and you'll get residuals. You know, we're going to pay you for every one that's sold. We're going to give you this much, but we'll take care of the marketing of it. You know, is there like companies like that, or does it have to be something really spectacular, like, you know, 3D phone TV? You know, I don't know.
Well, honestly, I think like legally, if you invent something, you can get it. What do you call that? Patented. Yeah. You can get it patented, but someone else can just make a copy of, and they sell it, and then, you know, if you sue that person, it's gonna cost you time and money. But the government not gonna be, you know, like having a cop standing over there saying, hey, you know, you made a copy of that guy, that's an imitation. You know, you can't do that. You know, we're gonna put you in prison and stuff. They don't do that. So legally, they're claiming, you know, everything is fine, but you know, it's in disorder. They don't really apply it. It's like a kind of like a big mess.
You know, wherever you go, wherever anybody lives, is probably a big mess. You know, like I said, no system is perfect. You know, but it definitely least my view, which I haven't left my country, so I'd like to, just to go travel and see all these cool places that I see on the television, like, I'd love to go to China, I'd love to go to Japan, I'd love to go to Korea, but now I'm hearing all this crazy stuff, but now everything's okay. I really don't know, like, what's going on, like, I feel like I'm in the dark, and, this is all news to me, like, I don't know, 5%, that's the rich people, and then the rest is all poor. That's just insane. Like, how does it get to that point?
Well,
like, how long has this been going on?
I think like 30, 40 years, because China...
That's fairly young.
Yeah, China went through a lot of stuff. In the early, 20s or what is, how do you say, I'm kind of confused.
I forgive you if you don't remember back in the 20s, it's okay.
I don't know. In the probably like 1940s, 1950s, that there was a civil war in China. So the communists took over China, and before then it was a different government. So right now Taiwan was kicked out of China mainland. The Taiwan government used to be the government of China, but there was a civil war. So those people, they went to Taiwan, they started their own government, and then now China is started by 1949. So after 1949, there was, I think you're familiar with the name Chairman Mao. It was the Chinese, the first Chinese president, I think they call it chairman there. So yeah, so he, he and Joseph Stalin, you know him, right?
Stallone?
the Russian, what do you call that? I can't. Soviet Union.
Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Okay.
So China, when Chairman Mao took over China, I think he wanted to he chose a different path. He was against the Western culture, the Western culture and the stuff. So he was considering himself a revolutionist. So he was like, all the ancient stuff, all the old stuff were bad. So he broke down all the, temple. I think the Shaolin Temple, we see a lot in movies, the monks and martial arts.
Right.
Right now, the Shaolin Temple is a tourist attraction. A lot of people go there. But I think it's newly built. It's recently, maybe in the past 10, 20 years, or like 30 years. When Jet Li was, I think, before Jet Li was famous, because in China, his first movie was the Shaolin Temple. I don't know if you ever watched that movie. And then he became
previous movies.
then he became international. But so he was the Shaolin Temple was the name of the movie, and the movie made him popular. Then he
was in Lethal Weapon the first time I saw him, I think.
Okay, yeah. So before then, the Shaolin Temple was like a whole mess, and then after the movie, it became a tourist attraction. A lot of people learned about it. They started going to Shaolin Temple for travel tour and the stuff. Then they built it. So when Chairman Mao took over China, he tore down a lot of stuff, the buildings, the ancient buildings and all the stuff. So he was like, those stuff were bad. We are building a new China. So and then he had a cultural revolution. I think he was scared of, this is a new, nation, a new country. I think he was scared that it will go into the wrong way. So he did a lot of stuff. It's like overreacting. So China, for a long time, the economy was really bad because Chairman Mao was like, we care about people's spiritual life. We don't care that much about
religion.
Yes. So I think he was good with wars and stuff. He was good at the battlefield, like direct the army man and stuff. He was good at that, but he wasn't good at being a leader. So China went the wrong way. So for a long time, like 10, 20 years. So when the president Deng Xiaoping he took over China, he realized that we have done wrong. We have like for example, like in the 60s and in the 70s, Chinese people were starving. We didn't really even have a bicycle, but people here were driving cars, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you guys had a TV and cars, like the perfect American dream. But in the 60s and the 70s, Chinese people were, I believe, all the kids, like when they finish middle school, like junior high, they were like 13, 14-year-old or 15-year-old. They have to go to the countryside to go, leave their, they have to leave school, and they had to go to the countryside because Chairman Mao was advocating that, you guys were born in the city, you don't know how tough and how hard life is, so you have to go there to help the farmers to grow things and stuff. Yeah. So during that time, like, the education was dropped. Like, nobody was paying enough attention to education and stuff. So the whole country was like in disorder.
Right. Okay. Yeah. See, I could definitely see how that could happen. Like, if you take a child who grew up in kind of a upper class family and everything like that, where education's good and everything's perfect, and you go and you put them where education ain't so good, I'm sure that their knowledge and their reading abilities and speech and writing and everything like that would be affected. Like, if they don't know something that the upper class knows, like they don't have books, if they don't have any like history books, science books, health books, they're not going to obtain that knowledge. If somebody don't know anything about it, So it's just a lack of the tools.
Yeah.
So
it was tough, and especially they were at the age, how their hormones were, spiking, and they were like, they don't want to go to school. They're like, I'm happy. Like, this is good news. I don't have to go to school no more.
They're crazy.
Yeah, they were like fighting and stuff. Like, so.
They're like, go expend that energy in the field, spend that energy, dig a hole, dig a trench.
Yeah, so, and then I think by 1978, that was the year the Chinese president, Deng Xiaoping, he took over China. So when he took over China, he realized, we have wasted like 10, 20 years in the past that we're not really building China, we were destroying China. So, and he made a comment about Chairman Mao, the former president before him, Chinese president. He said, I think he said he's 70% right or 30% wrong, or the other way around. I can't remember. But he started focusing on building the economy, and so like a portion of people getting rich fast. But for him, I think, maybe he could have had a better way or a better choice. But, when you look at people in the history, like, because with their background, their education, their visions are limited by the era. Right. So I think he tried his best, and the best thing he could do was he was testing the water. He didn't know how to do all those stuff.
Right.
So
he didn't have like people like to help him, like advisors, like an assistant, who like knows.
Because all the people supposed to help him, they were not in school. They were right. So there was a lot of people before then. They had good knowledge, they had good education. They were like, before him, they were like, in the Western country, there were a lot of like scientists and stuff. They were like, they went to the university here or in Europe, and they went back to build China. But Chairman Mao, during that time, they were not putting their focus on building China. So all those people, they were in the Cultural Revolution, and they were hurt. They were like, because during that 10 years, people were like hurting each other. They were fighting. They were killing each other, and stuff like that. So those people, they were disappointed. They don't want to, help no more, because they tried to help, but what they get in return, their families got killed and stuff.
Right.
So after 1978, so China was on its way, to be a rising star. Like, it's been continuing since 1978. Economically, it's going good. It has been going good, but I think there are underlying problems. That's why we have this channel. The name is Upcoming Revolution in China, because those problems never really got resolved. The government has been focusing on building the economies, but I think there are people, they are struggling hard, and they want their voice heard by the government, but the government are like, we don't have time for you. We don't have focus. We're focused.
What do they have time for?
Well, I don't know. I think their agenda is they want to develop and they want to be rich first, and then it's like the same theory, like portion of the people getting rich and the
if you already got way more than them, boom, you're rich. Well, to your that population of people, that 5%, okay, they're rich. You're where you need to be. How you gonna help the little guys?
Yeah,
exactly. You help these little guys. These little guys help you.
Exactly.
Get richer.
So
be fair.
Yeah. So that's one point. Another point I see is it's not even just about right or wrong. It's like, all these people, they consider themselves being bullied, and they're building up that anger. So it's nothing happened yet, but it's there. It's right. It's there. They're building up that anger. You can tell them to go home, or we don't care about you, or you have to wait. But it's like, for example, like a little guy is fighting a big guy. Maybe he can't win the fight, but he's gonna think about something to maybe stab him behind his back and stuff.
Meanwhile, this big guy think he's got it all in the back of his pocket. He's got it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna crush this little guy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this little guy's thinking, how am I gonna defeat him? Just like David and Goliath. They threw a rock at him. That was it.
Yeah. So I think right now some people believe the leaders in China, some of them they're willing to make a change, but they have obstacles, that because the whole nation is controlled by different families. So it's like, if one person, let's say right now the Chinese president, if he wants to make a change, it's not that easy for him, because back in the days when Chairman Mao, like 30, 40 years ago in China, if the leader wants to make a change, everybody had to agree. If they don't agree, they don't follow him, he could be, put this guy in prison or, kill him.
Right.
But now it's more, China claimed to be communist, but
so there's no voting system like how we do out here. Like if it's 4 years or whatever, we vote for a new president.
Well, there is, but it's all come from those families. Like the average people, ordinary people, they don't have a chance to become a candidate to be voted.
Right. So other like Republicans and Democrats.
Well, there is only one party in China. It's the Communist Party.
Let's see.
Yeah. So say if somebody say, you know, I want to become the president in China, here you have a way you can, you know, go, start your own campaign. And if if people vote you, there's enough people vote you.
For you and then,
you become the president.
You work your way up. You know.
Yeah.
So how does someone like coming from the poor part of China get to the top?
I think the chances
Go to America.
Well, it's like that's why so many people come to America. So a lot of Chinese people come to America. Even
the land of opportunity.
Yeah, even a lot of like rich people they immigrated to America, like celebrities and stuff. They have money, but they are feeling, I think, insecure over there.
See, they gotta give people a chance. You know, give them a chance. You know, give everyone an equal opportunity. Give them a chance.
Exactly.
You know, and you'd be surprised on what good, amazing things can come out of like the smallest person. You know, like just great ideas. You know, and so like keeping them down and not letting them, you know, to express themselves and to develop and grow. You know, it's counterproductive. So you're just going to stay in that it's like stagnant, you know, like stagnant water. You know, you don't want to drink it.
Yeah.
You know, but if you keep things flowing, you know, flowing water never goes stale.
Right.
So,
it's like raising kids.
Right.
You know, you can't just tell them you got to do this chore, you got to do that chore, and you know, all that stuff. That you have to be working with them.
Exactly. You guide them.
Yeah.
You know, you guide them. Show them the way, you know, like fire's hot, don't touch that, you know, you know, safety first, you know, for sure. But, you know, a lot of scrapes and bruises always came from, you know, trial by error. You know, my mom told me don't climb the tree and hang off the branch, and I'll do it anyway. You know, but, you know, I learned once I fell out of the tree. You know, so, okay, don't do that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think like you know, speaking to most like American people, you know, I think you guys should go, you know, travel to China.
I'd love to.
I think the flight doesn't cost much. I think like sometimes like $600-700 a round trip, and over there for Western people there are more opportunities. For example, like any average American, as long you can speak English, like you don't even have to finish high school. As long you can speak, you go over there, you can find an English teaching job, and they pay you well. Over there, they are seeing foreigners and Western people like up high. They treat them better. They
go there and teach Ebonics. English, but it's like broken English, really broken. So like, what's up? That means how are you? How's it going?
Well, there are actually, I saw on the internet, there are actually guys in China, they're into rap. So there are like Chinese people with, you know, Chinese face and speaking Ebonics.
See, boom, there it is.
And there were like people.
I had such a great idea.
They have like.
They're gonna be rich, you know.
They have like NBA followers there. They are like they spend like a lot of money, like $2,000 on Jordan shoes. It's like. Well, the Jordan shoes over there is like a collectible. It's like super expensive. And I saw like on TV, they're like Chinese kids. They're into like street balls and stuff. They speak Ebonics. They have like a black accent. Like,
so, that's good.
Yeah, they watch the music and video a lot. Yeah, there are. I think also like if American people go to China, you know, you guys can bring the peaceful mind and you know to Chinese people, because I think in China people need to be to be waken up. They need to open their eyes to see, how the rest of the world is like. Because there is, like, for example, like YouTube.
Like, does everyone have TV there?
They have TV.
You know, like everyone here has a phone.
Yeah, they do. They have TV, they have internet, but there is an internet ban in China. They can't get on YouTube or Facebook or Google.
Right.
Because the Chinese government
That's stopping information.
Yeah, they don't want them to see, like, if there is a voice.
That is better over there?
Yes.
Well, then that might solve some of the overpopulation, right? They're like, well, we're out, over there.
That's it reminds me of back in the days when I think it was what's his name, Ronald Reagan. When he was visiting China, he was telling the Chinese president, you guys should improve your human rights, should let people have more freedom like America. And the Chinese president said, well, I can do so. We have almost 1.4 billion people in China. If you open the gate of America, and I'm gonna kick all of them out, and they all go to America.
He's all by himself. There's no electricity.
Well, over there they have internet, and a lot of people, they don't have TV, but they have phone. So I think the cell phone thing is a smartphone is a big revolution today, technology revolution. I heard from chatting with my friends, Chinese friends, they were saying, like, in the countryside, like, people, they never went to school, they don't have a TV, but everyone has a smartphone. They're talking about, like, the U.S. president, they're talking about, like, all the international events. But they never left their hometown. They never left that village. They never went to school. It's like something very surprising and very different, because they don't even watch TV. They use their cell phone.
Well, like, shouldn't that, like, how we were talking about teenagers, when they become teenagers, they're sent to go work and experience, like tough living, you got to work for things, like, I just had a brain fart, just lost it. What were you just talking about? Teenagers, right? Before that. Anyway, that happens to me a lot. I lose my hair if it wasn't attached.
Technology.
Yeah, with the phones, right? How they have that built up testosterone and stuff like that. So they're like, here, go expend it there. But now, kids are like this now.
Yeah.
Listen, they're gonna grow eyeballs on their chins. Like, that's the way it's gonna do. Like, this is it. I don't see kids fighting like when I was growing up. We didn't have those things. So we went out and actually played.
Activity.
Yeah, in a playground. Climb trees, swim in the creek. Like things like that. But now, when Nintendo came out and Atari, that was cool. But we were limited to how much we were allowed to play it. You could play it for an hour. Then go outside.
It's a new age,
Put your phone down. Go outside.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. You can play with your phone for an hour. Now go outside and learn something. But all the knowledge that you probably need or would want to know is right there in that little handheld computer.
It's like Wikipedia.
Encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yeah, it's like everything's in there.
But then, on the other hand, you're only going to see what who puts on there wants you to see.
Yeah.
Right?
They can blind you. They can direct your.
Yeah. Because there's somebody controlling that. You know what I mean? Somebody's controlling what you're watching.
Yeah, I think all governments do that. They want to direct people in the way they want you. Yeah.
That's definitely.
But still, honestly, I think America life in here is like way better in China. It's like that's why so many Chinese people they move here. Yeah, a lot of them they come here, they get a tourist visa or student visa, then some of them they become illegal. They don't even want to go back to China. They apply for like a what do you call that, a political asylum. They claim that they have a political issue over there. They have a different opinion,
Right.
like a refugee stuff.
Right.
But honestly, technically, I would
You
say,
talk about majority of China, right?
yeah, I would say like the majority of Chinese people they qualify for it.
Right.
They qualify for a refugee, but they're gonna they're gonna fill up America. They
Right.
can't let our Chinese people in here.
So are there like streets and roads and buildings and things like that there, or is it like
But they're
straw and bamboo?
It's quite different from what we see in the TV show and the movies. I remember there was a show called Lois and Clark, the
Lois
new
and Clark.
Superman by
Right,
Dean
right,
Cain. In that show, in one episode, Clark Kent went to China to grab Chinese food, and the scene of China was bamboo, and it was like a primitive. It was
Right,
like in the
right.
caveman age.
Right.
It's quite different there. I say like in China, the big cities, they are just like Vegas, or even better. They have tall buildings, they have like beautiful views, and they pay a lot of focus on the city development, because like it's a long story. It's the Chinese system. It's like, for example, I work for the government and I build this building. If I have a project going on, I can ask my boss to give me money. They are gonna take the taxpayers' money. I need like 5 million or whatever to build this building, and they have a chance to pocket the money.
Right.
So in that way, they are so eager. They are so passionate about like making the city look fancy and nice, so they can
Right.
tell their boss, look, this is my achievement, I need more money to make this and make that. That's a way for them to make money. So the big cities are like that, and the small cities like villages and stuff, there are like regions and areas in China, they are poor. They are like only mountains and like houses built with straw,
Bamboo, straw.
yeah,
right.
somewhere. I haven't been to like many places in China, so I can't really tell, but I believe so.
Wow. So, what was it? You guys were saying something about it. You showed videos? Did you show any videos on the last one?
The what? I'm sorry.
Did you guys show videos of, like, do you have videos of what's going on?
Yeah, but I don't know if this laptop works. Like, I think maybe in our next show we can show videos. Yeah, because we haven't like.
I'd like to check them out, because right now, all I got is, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah,
like,
next show or next episode we're gonna find some videos to show to let people have a real feel about.
right, because right now we're only talking about it.
Yeah.
Visually, I don't think our audience can see. They're getting a picture, getting an idea, but
Yeah.
just
And
being
it's
able to
just-
see it and see it. So, hey, let me ask you: are they rating people out there? Like, if you have a rating, like almost like a 5-star rating, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 stars,
No.
social rating? Is
No,
that
no, they don't. But back in the days, they were doing something similar. They were reading people. They put people in categories back in the days. It's like they research your family background to see what did your father do, what did your grandfather do. So
right? And
they,
you'd probably be just like him. So
yeah, they did some like they were contributing to the society or something. They were considering you good, they give you a better opportunity for job and stuff.
Right.
But if your family say
It's like a credit score.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, if they were not doing so good, if they were, say, when Japan was invading China, there was a war between China and Japan, and if you were a traitor and you betrayed China, and if your father did so, and so you have to take the blame.
Right, you're the son of the traitor.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so I think we had a good conversation to reveal, to give people the general idea of what's going on in China. So
I think so. I mean, there's definitely sounds like there's this is just skimming the surface of a wide variety of things. Because I'm sure we can go deeper into all these topics that we just discussed. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we should definitely do it again.
Yeah, we're gonna continue in the next episode. And thank you guys. See you next time.
谢谢。
Yeah, 谢谢。